this weekend. I know you guys are excited. We've got some great games Friday and Saturday, and you guys will see the schedule here in a moment. But man, some phenomenal games, some phenomenal matchups this weekend, and every Friday and every Saturday there are going to be good matchups. There's so many good teams in the area.
Yeah, and we're going to be there. That's one thing, And in the first matchup, Will and I had to decide what to go with first, and we want to dive deep into this Aquinas at Evans matchup Friday night. And I'll take the first thing. Contain Ahmed. Keys to the game, and we said contain Ahmed Hill, and then we both laughed because
who's gonna do that?
Go figure, But I think this play sums it up for me. He can get to the spot he wants, and then he can convert from that spot. He doesn't have to get all the way to the rim. He doesn't have to be wide open on a catch and shoot. He can get to exactly the spot he wants, and then really can't be contested.
I mean, that was defended well, but he's just the athlete that's going to beat you on some occasions. That's usual occasions.
And that's all one-on-one.
Yeah.
And you take a guy like Michael Scott creating now, and good luck. But Evans has a lot of good athletic guards, and we'll see if they can do the job.
Yeah.
All right. Well, what is the key for Evans, Will?
Well, I think you got to throw a lot of guys at Ahmed. Yeah, quite naturally, one guy's not going to do it. Throw a lot of guys at him, and I think Evans really, really has to maybe push the tempo because they're so deep.
Yeah.
Aquinas, I know they was waiting on a lot of guys to come back from football season, so that tells me right there that rotation's not going more than 6 or 7 players. So they really want to make this an up-tempo style game and really get after it.
And with such good guards, that again maybe Jacob Buchanan could kind of steal some
Yeah,
thunder.
yeah, we kind of have him as our, we see Damian Foreman here, and we said Evans has good guard play. You got Patrick
Lawrence
Lawrence here with the pull-up. He's come on a little bit as of late. But back to Jacob Buchanan, and Will called that out before the show. He's the kind of guy that plays with so much energy. So you've got this Alvarez at Aquinas, a sophomore. Will he be able to keep that energy up and keep Jacob off the boards, keep him from shooting those little mid-range shots that he likes? So maybe that's. And then the other X factor we had was Michael Scott, because he can just.
So quick.
Yeah, he can give you 25 or 30 on the right night. He doesn't have to, but he can.
All right, and then let's go to our. Do you have a comment on that one?
Yeah, just like Chad said earlier, Ahmed, you can almost pencil Ahmed in for 2025.
Yeah.
And if you let Michael Scott get going and start creating like Alvarez had 14 last game, that can hurt you.
Yeah. So it's almost like maybe Ahmed's going to get his. Don't let the other guys hurt you.
Yeah. And the thing about Michael Scott, his AAU coach, Mike Stokes, always says, meat, that's what we call him. Meat is deadly in high school ball because the size isn't as much of a factor
as it is in the summer.
And he, pound for pound is just like, like Mike always says, you give him 6'4",
he's the one getting all the offers.
Yeah,
no
exactly.
doubt about it. Well, let's go to the next big matchup here briefly on Josie Glen Hills, and it's the start of a tough couple of nights for Josie, but it's also the first big test for them.
Yeah, I think the great key matchup here to watch is two great perimeter groups. Darius Williams, Michael Brown, Charlie Green, Danny Demmons on Josie's side. And the way they get it done is a little bit different from Glen Hills. They can shoot from deep, they can score, they can create high energy. Will mentioned their unselfish play earlier. So that's the way they get it done. But Glen Hills, on the other hand, great guard play, and they're more attacking the rim. So
the slashers from Glen Hills against maybe the shooters from Josie?
That's what it is. And one thing about Josie is they've been real patient, and they spread you out. If they can be patient and kind of take away, use Glen Hills' aggressiveness against them, they're going to get easy shots. Because Glen Hills, they gamble a lot because they're long and athletic, and they usually deflect a lot of balls. But if Josie can spread them out and be patient, they may get what they want.
All right, that's a good matchup, a couple of good matchups for Friday night.
Sorry to interrupt, but one thing I tweeted about during that Thanksgiving Classic is somebody, I can't remember which team, but they tried to pressure Josie in the backcourt, and Darius, it was almost like, oh, thank you. And so, he just goes right past the guy and gets to the rim. And that's what we saw Glen Hills be so effective at against Evans. So if they get out, Will mentioned how they spread you out. If they get out in the full court press, I'm interested in seeing, which way that goes.
And even if Josie gets by Glen Hills, they got to come back the next night with a lot of emotion because it's always a big game, Josie Laney, for Saturday.
Yeah, and one of the things we're looking forward to so much is, okay, how is Laney going to respond to the Butler game? First loss and literally, I saw Coach Hunter and I said, Coach, it happens to all of us. We all eventually lose. I know you haven't lost in a long time. And he kind of joked and gave me the date when it was, and it was a long time ago. But anyway, I think, it's always emotional with those two. And I know, like, just from being in the summer, refereeing some games, being around some games, and guys like Darius Williams, they don't like Laney. This is old-fashioned. This isn't like NBA, we all go to dinner stuff.
Yeah.
Like, these guys kind of don't like each other, and as far as I can tell, and so that'll make for a great game.
And certainly probably don't like the attention Laney has gotten recently, I would think.
Definitely. And if you look at the schedule, just something about this, you kind of have to favor Laney a little bit. You look at Josie be playing their third game in a week, and Laney is on one of those rare occasions when the coaches get 5 days to practice, and we all know how good that staff is at Laney to prepare for this one game, So it's going to be an interesting game.
All right, and then finally, as we close things out, just briefly mention the fact that one of the players we haven't talked about in this show is Frank Booker, and he's finally going to get on the court as Westside takes on Lakeside, and we expect big things from Booker this year.
Of course, yeah. He's we talked about before the show how guys like Dante Coleman and Reggie Reed and Ahmed Hill and all these guys are putting up a lot of scoring numbers. And one thing that I know about Frank is he can score. So
he might be the leading scorer, but when it's all said and done here, and he's the one senior we will be talking about a lot. Well, Ronald Jones as well at Butler, but Frank Booker and his Westside teammates taking on Lakeside to open their campaign. So we hope you've enjoyed the show, guys. Great stuff. I mean, we could have sat here and talked all day. I think about the we might have made some of the staff upset, but we could have done it because there's some great stuff to talk about. And we appreciate all the hard work.
And one thing I'd like to say before we're talking about these games coming up. We've reviewed the games that have happened. A couple things. One is it seems like we've been either personally or through people that like kind of shoot the video for us and we watch it from remotely. It seems like we've been at every game this year, and I don't think that's going to change. And so all these games that we're previewing, we're working on getting out there, and we've got. We're going to scroll through AugustaBasketball.com. You can scroll through it right now and basically get caught up with the whole high school basketball season.
If you hear us talking about a player and you want to say, well, I want to check this guy out, Dante Coleman or whoever, just go to AugustaBasketball.com and you can get footage on just about all the top players, all the top teams. So definitely do that throughout the year.
And Friday night, Aquinas and Evans and Harlem and Grovetown and Westside and Lakeside, you'll see live updates, not just from the boys, but from the girls as well. So we're excited about it.
All right, there you go. Well, guys, great job as always. We appreciate all the hard work, and I know you're going to keep doing it for the next few months as we have a big basketball season on tap for the entire CSRA. We thank you for being with us here on another edition of ABR TV, and we hope you'll join us throughout the year. Like I said, there are some great players in this area. Get out there and watch the guys, but for some reason you can't make it out, you can always catch all the info you need at AugustaBasketball.com or tune in with us each week here on ABR TV. Thanks for being with us.